Hey Michigan, Marjorie here with Idra. I just got back from a zoning board of appeals meeting in Newaygo County in Garfield Township, and we need to talk about what happened tonight. This absolutely pertains to the rest of the state, in particular folks who are battling utility scale, large scale wind, solar, and battery energy storage sites, which, yeah, for those of you who are battling AI data centers, if you aren't aware of a best site that you're also battling yet, that's probably just because you don't know about it yet. Almost all of these AI data centers are coming part and parcel with a best site. So let's talk about what happened in Newaygo County tonight. So just a tiny little bit of background. There's a 2,400 acre solar field that a company called Sylvan Solar wants to put in, which is owned by BlackRock, which is adorable. And they've been going around with the local board and the local planning commission for, I think, about a year and a half now. The planning commission denied their permit application on the basis that it did not conform with the full zoning ordinance. The board, the township board, Garfield Township Board, reinforced this decision and again voted to deny the developer's zoning permit application based on the fact that that their application was incompatible with the larger general master zoning ordinance. Well, what happened tonight is a 5-person appointed board, that's the Zoning Board of Appeals, which included the former mayor of Grand Rapids, George Hartwell, who apparently lives in Newaygo County now. They voted to overturn both of those decisions based on the fact, and are you ready for this? This one's real cute. Based on the fact that they have to follow the law, and the law says that if all zoning requirements are satisfied, then they have to give them the zoning. And all of the zoning requirements were satisfied within the CREO, or Compatible Renewable Energy Ordinance, that the board had passed, even though the board and the Planning Commission determined it was not compatible with the general ordinance, that it was most lawful for them to overturn that decision and to go ahead and to approve this permit by Sylvan Township because it matches, because it's compatible with the specific CREO ordinance, and that satisfies the requirement. So, I mean, you can't make it make sense because it doesn't make sense, right? This is the kind of mental gymnastics that we see boards across the state getting duped by. This is the kind of mental gymnastics that we hear from politicians, like former Mayor George Hartwell, from attorneys who are primarily concerned about township boards being sued by developers, don't seem to care at all about township boards, about the potential of them being sued by local residents. And again, the justification for this decision tonight was that we have to follow the law. And so that's what the board and the planning commission were doing. And so we're going to overturn their legal lawful decisions to uphold their zoning ordinance in order to follow the law. Like, make it make sense. But again, they're just terrified that they're going to be sued, or that this case is going to go to the Michigan Public Service Commission, MPSC, and then they're not going to have any of the control in their hands whatsoever. Some of the points that were raised tonight by residents and some of the debate with the board included discussions about PA233. And this is where the rest of y'all across the state come into the picture. And yeah, this video is already over 3 minutes. Deal with it, algorithms. PA233 is the piece of legislature that was passed in fall of 2023 in a absolutely brutal bloodbath of a lame duck session by Democratic legislators and a Democratic majority, specifically under Whitmer. PA 233, and then later what was passed was 234 and 235, are effectively Michigan's green energy laws, or our climate energy legislation, which are supposed to lower rates for Michigan residents, lower energy rates, and clean the grid, right? Clean the grid to get the dirty carbon fossil burning out of our grid. But here's the thing about PA 233, 34, and 35. This climate legislature was almost entirely written and conceived of by Energy utility corporations, by DTE and by Consumers Energy. And it does not include, and this is the really mind-blowing part, and progressives, if you're still tuning in, please, 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 this is the part that you need to understand. Michigan's climate laws make no allowance for individual homes, businesses, residents to generate their own energy behind the grid using renewable energy. No allowances for folks to become energy independent, to be literally generating and using their own energy. You can put solar panels on your roof, but that's going to go straight to DTE or to consumers. Those are the laws that are on the books right now. That's why they are actually jacking up Michigan's energy rates. That's why they are destroying farmland, forest land, state land. And that is why they've had to pass PA233, which strips townships of their local zoning control for these projects and put it in the hands of the Michigan Public Service Commission. One of the core foundational principles of of environmental justice. There's 17 core principles that were written in 1991, I believe. And one of those core principles, I'm paraphrasing, but it goes something like this. Decisions made without the local community are made against the local community. And that is exactly what PA233 is. That is exactly what happened in Newaygo County tonight. And that is exactly what is happening across the state. You don't understand. We are losing hundreds of thousands of acres of farmland to these toxic projects, which are not using agrivoltaics. No, they're not. These pictures of happy cows and sheep grazing amongst the solar panels, it's not happening because the developers are not implementing agrivoltaics because there's absolutely no requirements for them to do so. And I'm sorry, but unless developers are absolutely required to do something, they don't do it. They are not doing agrivoltaics. And in fact, the energy that's transmitting from these utility solar fields are transmitting at 20% efficiency compared to the almost 100% efficiency rate that you can get if you are generating your own energy for yourself with these panels on your own roof. This is an egregious situation. PA233 is hurting communities across the state. You know, what we saw in Newaygo County tonight was absolutely heartbreaking. It's been heartbreaking across the state. This needs to stop. This is not a partisan issue. This is not about whether or not we believe in climate change or not. This is about Michigan's water, land, habitats, and air being worth protecting. And this is about, saving the planet without destroying it in the process, right? Michigan needs good green energy laws, which start with allowing residents and businesses to become energy independent. And that is exactly what our legislators need to work on right now. Repeal PA233 through 235 and replace it with sensible, renewable solar, renewable energy that allows for us to generate energy on our own terms. That's all I've got to say about that.